Hello. Thank you. For me, it's an honor to be here. It's a privilege to be here. What I want to say is Scotland is always was for me a very exciting country. But by his millennial story, his customs, and the peculiar tradition, when I heard the music Amazing Grace, I don't know why I become very exciting, thrilling. My friends, see how interesting is this. My father came from Holland to Brazil, find my mother, and they married and lived together. My father died with 75 years of age. I am the unique son from this wedding. Another interesting aspect is that my father was an entertaining person, a musician, and loves the Brazilian country and his people. Something apparently like Andrew, and my mother was an expert needle woman like Julia is. Now, I, my wife, Tanya, my son, José Eduardo, and Maria here, also, who is my family since beginning at most 38 years. Unfortunately, we lost our son Pedro Leonardo, a year and a half ago, and he likes us. We feel very proud to be here in the Scottish ceremony of wedding of my dear daughter Julia with Andrew, a Scottish guy in Edinburgh, Scotland. We desired all kinds of happiness, success, and welfare with the most of many healthiness, and I hope they give us many grandchildren and many granddaughters. I wish to thank you for this opportunity and for welcome reception and attention we received by Jane and Ian, his sons Peter, Simon, and Tim, Ed Ledger, and by Mitch and Nancy and his daughters Susie and Laura Craig. And these friends we are presently also Brazilian Julia's friends are being here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for that, Jarvis. That was very nice. I'm just going to start by saying that I may be wearing a skirt, but I'm still a man. And I think I'll prove that today by getting married. So of course, I'm going to say on behalf of my wife and I, I'm not saying I'm any taller than you, but maybe I can move this up a bit. Really? Was it that bad? Yeah. Yeah. No, it's all right, man. I'll do it less. Obviously, I'd like to thank everyone who made this day possible. At the beginning, I'm going to make some thank yous, say a few things. So let's leave a little bit of wine in the glass so that we can do a few toasts, okay, because I'm going to do a few. But also, I'm going to have to say a few things in Portuguese, okay? So I'm going to do a bit of English and a bit of Portuguese. You're going to have to bear with me when I do Portuguese. And there's no better time than present to start right now. Pessoalmente, eu gosto de agradecer a Jarbas e a Tânia para me aceitar na sua família, para me fazer sentir tão bem-vindo. Eu também gostaria de agradecer vocês dois sobre tão bem que vocês criaram a Júlia, para ser linda, carinhosa, inteligente e brava. Mulher com quem eu tive o prazer de casar com hoje. Obrigado. Obrigado. I'll translate for you guys, yeah? I'd personally like to thank Tanya and Jarvis for accepting me into their family, making me feel so welcome. I'd also like to thank them both on how well they've brought up Julia into the beautiful, caring, intelligent, and a little bit angry woman that I've had the pleasure of marrying today. I remember when I asked Jarvis if I could marry Julia, he looked at me and said, listen, we've got a few more people to see, but we'll be in touch. 6 months later, he called me, and here we are today. So, as you can see, I couldn't have asked for any genuinely more nicer or more honest in-laws. Included in that also my brother-in-law, Eduardo, and also Maria as well. You guys are welcome to come to Scotland, anytime you want. We're really pleased to have you both here, and I hope you're enjoying to be here. Hopefully we'll introduce you some nice malt whiskey later on as well. Yeah. So, thank you. Yeah. That's what you came for, wasn't it, Absolutely. So, if you could all be upstanding, and please raise your glasses to Tanya, Jarvis, Edu, and Maria, the in-laws. In-laws. Cheers. Pode sentar. Now, obviously, as this speech is from both of us, Julia would like to thank my parents too. You should all be very proud to have such a handsome, intelligent son. So I'm sure you are. We'd like to thank all four of you for everything you've done for us, especially, of course, Jane and Ian, for all the hard work you've done getting the wedding together. I know it hasn't been easy, but I'm sure it's been worth it, hasn't it, And also thanks to you for both Mitch and Nan for coming so far to get here and helping us make this a family occasion. So we're really thankful for that. I feel really lucky to have 4 parents and now 2 more, so now I've got 6. This table's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, isn't it? I don't know where we go after that. Julia was asking me how my childhood was when I was young. And I said to her, well, my parents moved a lot, but I always managed to track them down. So, thanks for everyone. This toast is for my parents, Jane, Ian, Mitch, and Nan. So, let's stand again. Raise your glasses to my parents. Thank you. Saúde. Obviously, it's amazing to see how many of our friends and family here today to help us celebrate the happiest day of our lives. I know some of you have travelled a long way to be here. We've got people who've come from Brazil, Australia, Fiji, Spain, Pakistan, and all over Scotland and England. Plus a couple of folk on day release from the jail as well, so thanks for them for turning up. And you've all made it great. Thanks for your generous checks. We really appreciate them. And for those of you that don't know that you gave checks, that's why you're being frisked on the way in. Who said that identity fraud's a bad idea, eh? So, one second. Infelizmente, não foi possível para ter todos que nós amamos aqui conosco hoje. Mas sabemos que eles estão aqui conosco em espírito. Eles não estão aqui apenas nos nossos pensamentos hoje, mas é mais importante que eles estão aqui conosco em nossos corações. Como lembrança para meu cunhado Pedro, eu gostaria de falar algumas palavras que o Julia me falou que foram importantes para ele. Unfortunately, it's not been possible to have everyone we love here with us today, but we know they're with us in spirit, and not only in our thoughts, but they're with us in our hearts. So as a memento to my late brother-in-law, Pedro, I'd like to just everyone to stand and raise your glasses and remember something which is very close to him, and that is to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. To Pedro. Okay, now obviously there's an unwritten rule at weddings that nobody should look better than the groom. I've got to thank everybody for sticking to that, to the letter. You know, Tim and Simon, obviously I've got to thank you guys for really doing everything with the ushering and the music and everything like that. You've both been great. Where is Tim? Yeah, all right, sorry man, yeah. So thanks for that. You know, you've been treating the place like a backstreet nightclub, which, you know, I think it should be. Frisking the people and searching the handbags and all that, you know. You know. I tried to tell them it wasn't a Muslim wedding, you know what I mean? But, you know. So they did tell one woman to sit with your feckin' well told, and I thought, nah, it's a bit below the belt, but it's all good. You know, so thanks to both of you guys, you know. Now to Peter. You really want to speak, or you think you just leave it, you know? Maybe it's enough for me just to talk, eh? No, obviously I'd like to thank you for organising the stag do, you know. It was certainly an event. But most importantly, I'd like to thank you for being a true friend and a brother. Peter's my best friend and my oldest brother, and he's one of the few people who's been there with me my whole life. So I couldn't think of anybody better to be my best man than Peter. However, there's something that I need to make you aware of. Peter suffers from a strange condition that causes him to be a bit delusional, drift out in weird kind of stories, you know. Like, basically, he's told so many white lies he could have iced the wedding cake, you know. But, you know, just to make you aware of that before he has his speech, you know. Now, apart from my wife, there are obviously several other beautiful ladies here today. I haven't got time to go through everyone because I don't want to be arguing for my whole honeymoon, you know. But three in particular are Juliana and my two sisters, Susie and Laura. Thanks for reading in the church for me. I loved it. It was amazing, you know. I'd just like to remind all my friends that both my sisters are happily married and I don't want to go out and look at the night sky later on. Juliana, we'd like to thank you for being such a wonderful bridesmaid in so many ways, you know. You've been a star. Thanks for putting up with me and Julia. I know it's not been easy, you know. And also, while we're on the bridesmaids, Paolo, bridesman, thanks very much, you know. Paolo, from the dress. Okay. Oh. Seriously, Paolo, from the dress to the makeup to the hair to looking after Julie in London, I mean, I don't know where to start thanking you or where to end, you know, but it's been amazing. Muito obrigado, foi. Valeu. So, please stand and join me in a toast to the bridesmaid, bridesman, my brothers and sisters, for always being with me and make me proud to have such great friends and family. The family and friends. I'm almost done. You want to go? You're that desperate? Okay, so, finally, I would like to thank my wife for agreeing to marry me. I think you'll agree that she looks absolutely gorgeous today. And when she walked up the aisle, she took my breath away. It was amazing. You know? So good. Now, Julie and I met when we were diving, during a dive on an island in the middle of the Atlantic, halfway between Brazil and Africa. Julie was having problems in the water, and I went to help her. She was being taken in a... Of course, there was a fat girl there too, but I decided to miss that one. She was being taken in a really strong current that would have led her all the way to Africa. So if I hadn't stepped in right now, she could be marrying in the Congo right now, marrying a tribe with bones through her nose. Which thankfully she's not. We came up out of the water, and I remember thinking how beautiful she was, you know. I asked her to go out to a meal with me, and she said, I don't go out with perfect strangers. And I thought, well, thanks for the compliment, but it's you that's perfect, you know. Now, when it comes to talking about my bride's good points, where do I start? She's intelligent, generous, beautiful, hardworking, popular, very funny. You know? No, she recently admitted to me that she'd been wrong once, and that was when she thought she was wrong. Being with Julie has made me appreciate a lot of stuff I hadn't thought about before. I guess it's like the stuff you think about when you're at school, like you don't appreciate when you're at school. You know, like being spanked every day by middle-aged women. You know? That's stuff you pay good money for in later life. Now, having lived with Julia... I've been living with Julia for a couple of years now. Julia's learned how to cook, and it's amazing. She's very good at it. At the beginning of our relationship, after dinner, I didn't brush my teeth. I counted them. But thankfully, that's changed now, you know. I've also learned a very valuable lesson. Now, as all my friends and family know, I'm a fairly modern man, you know. I've got absolutely no problem in buying tampons. But one thing I have learned is that they're not a real present. No. Julia always says, like, you don't marry someone you can live with, you marry the person you can't live without. And I think that sums us up perfectly. Doesn't it? I know. I feel very lucky to have met Julia, and we have a lot of fun together. You know, I remember many years ago asking my granddad, after 40-odd years of marriage, what makes a successful marriage? And and he told me, he said, do you know what it means to come home at night to a woman who'll give you a little love, a little affection, a little tenderness? I said, no, Grandad, what does it mean? He said, it means you're in the wrong house, that's what it means. Seriously though, I intend to spend the rest of my life making Julia happy, you know. Julia, ti amo. I really want to grow old with you. I started out with nothing. I still have most of it left. You know, I'm really looking forward to it. It's been nice with me. So, would you all please be upstanding to my beautiful wife, Julia?
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Let me. I need my grandchildren, my granddaughter, and my grandchild. Please. Let's go away.
Okay, so there's going to be a break in the wedding while we go and work on that, and we'll be back in half an hour. No, but now, contrary to the norm, Julia would like to say a few words.
No, I don't want to.
Well, I'm sure that's not the last time I'm going to hear Julia say that. So, now is the time I've been dreading ever since I was best man at Peter's wedding. I'm going to pass you over to my brother, and thanks very much. I really appreciate everybody being here. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think you'll all agree that it's been a wonderful wedding so far. Everyone's played their part in making this the perfect day for Andrew and Julia, and now finally, here's my chance to lower the tone. They say that the best man's speech is the groom's worst 5 minutes of the day. The bride's worst 5 minutes, however, come later on tonight. I know Andrew's already introduced me, but I'll introduce myself again. I'm Peter, Andrew's older brother. He asked me to be best man about 6 months ago. You'd think that'd be plenty of time to prepare a speech, wouldn't you? Well, it was actually ample because Andrew's instructed me on what he wanted me to say. So here I go. Andrew may have had his moments in the past, but now he's seen the light, found himself a cracking girl, and he's going to live happily ever after. If only it was that simple, Andrew. I'm not quite sure if Andrew is aware of this, but the tune that he was piped into the room with this evening was called Cock of the North, which I thought was quite appropriate, really. I have to admit to sitting there during Andrew's speech wondering how long it was going to last, given that the majority of his previous efforts at public speaking have consisted of "not guilty, Your Honour." Having never been a best man before, I was actually terrified and had no idea what my responsibilities were. My wife suggested I go on the internet and have a look, so I did, and I was bombarded with a wealth of information. There were several articles to read and a list of best man's duties. I read these with great interest, and one sentence really grabbed my attention. It said, "Make sure the groom's face and hair are in order." Well, I have to say that if nature didn't get them in order the first time round, then what chance have I got? I think all went well this morning. In getting Andrew ready for his big day, the condemned man ate a solid, hearty breakfast and arrived at the ceremony sober and on time. My one disappointment would have to be failing to arrange his last request as a single man due to strong protest from the do-gooders at the Sheep Welfare Council. This is a very traditional wedding, obviously, with Julia wearing white and Andrew wearing the kilt. For those of you not familiar with the kilt, each tartan represents a different clan. I understand that Andrew's wearing a McDonald tartan, although apparently that's got nothing to do with the chicken nugget underneath it. The happy couple went to a lot of expense to have their wedding in this grand castle, which legend has it is one of the most haunted places in Scotland. I suppose it will be a convenient cover-up at breakfast when the other guests complaining about the sound of moaning and rattling chains in the night. But I suppose the parents have as much right to celebrate as the newlyweds. Being brothers, I've known Andrew all of my life. He was born in Gay Paris on the 17th of April, 1978. There will no doubt be some of you that have heard from Andrew that if you reschedule the Roman and Christian calendars, that's actually the likely day of Jesus' birth. In reality, he shares a birthday with Victoria Beckham and Claire Sweeney from Brookside. When I first met Andrew, therefore, he was drooling, had no bladder control, and couldn't speak, which is probably not that dissimilar from when some of you first met him. As the best man, I really should grasp this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reveal to you all the groom's past misdemeanors. Unfortunately, I've played a part in some of those incriminating events, so I don't really want to tarnish my impeccable reputation. So instead, I'll keep things very short by talking about Andrew's qualities. What can I tell you about Andrew? One word, enthusiastic. Andrew's a glass half full, seize the day kind of guy, with an optimism and energy that I love and envy in equal measure. He couldn't wait to marry Julia, which is understandable given how beautiful she looks today. But he was also genuinely enthusiastic about sorting the invitations, the flowers, the table plan. An embarrassment to men everywhere. Being Andrew's older brother, you might assume that I've given him the opportunity to learn from my mistakes, but as my parents will confirm, I haven't made any. Andrew, on the other hand, has been an education for all of us. Particularly in how not to drive, how not to emigrate without a proper visa, and how not to drink beer. However, his mistakes are behind him, and today in marrying Julia, for Andrew it must be like winning the lottery, but for poor Julia, she's just getting the bonus ball. Some of you will be aware that for the stag do, we went to Amsterdam for 3 days. I can see a few people shifting uncomfortably in their seats at the mention of that. Now, normally what happens on tour stays on tour, and I like to think of myself as a pretty open-minded individual. But Andrew did something that absolutely disgusted and appalled me on this trip. and I felt it was only right that we share it with his bride. When presented with an England football top, not only did he put it straight on, but he kissed the badge and uttered the immortal words, "Come on, the Three Lions." I guess we now know who Andrew will be supporting at the World Cup in Brazil next year. And given that, I think it's important that you keep this shirt as a memento when cheering on your new heroes. I'd just like to say a few words about the happy couple. Andrew and Julia, you're starting out on a wonderful adventure today. Your marriage is ahead of you, filled with exciting possibilities and wonderful opportunities. And it's with great pleasure that I say congratulations, and may you have many years of immense love and happiness. I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome Julia to the family. Andrew, you'll be given lots of advice from the married men here today, so let me just throw in my 2 pennies worth that should put you in good standing. Firstly, always remember that it's vitally important to get along with your mother-in-law. I didn't speak to mine for the first 2 years of my marriage. It wasn't that I didn't like her, I was just too polite to interrupt. And secondly, always tell your wife that you love her after making love, no matter how far away she is. On that note, I'd like you all to charge your glasses and join me in toasting the new Mr. and Mrs. Craig. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the bride and groom.
Okay, just to end this, we're going to do something again. Again, this is a mixture of Brazilian and Scottish wedding, so we're going to ask Paulo, who's the bridesman. He's going to give a few words from Brazil. Okay, so let's welcome him here. Woo!
Hi, I am sorry, I don't speak English. And is my tradutor, Google Tradutor, ok? Você pode me traduzir? Eu vou naquele ali e você fica nesse daqui.
Okay. Is that it? No. Okay.
Fala em...
Você vai ler em português?
Vou ler em português, mas é bem simples. It's very simple.
Okay, so apparently I've just heard about this. He's going to read in Portuguese.
I
I'm going
speak
to
in
translate.
Portuguese e Andrew speak in English, ok? Quando Júlia me convidou para esse evento, acreditei ser possível realizar um sonho.
Andrew's the best looking guy I've ever seen in my life.
No change. Change the microphone, please.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so he said, when Andrew and Julia invited me to this wedding, I couldn't believe how lucky I was to be able to come to Scotland.
Yes.
Almost the same.
Seria como entregar uma princesa a seu príncipe em lindo castelo.
To have a prince and a princess marrying in a castle.
Yes. One prince and beauty prince in the castle. Okay. Para nós brasileiros isso é um conto de fadas.
For us Brazilians, it's an absolute fairy tale.
E acredito que para os escoceses isso é história, estar aqui.
And he believes that for us Scottish people, it's a story, history.
Porém, todos together estamos em uma bela história.
So, for that reason, all of us together in a beautiful story
De amor e união.
of love and union.
De Andrew and Julia.
of Andrew and I don't translate that.
Andrew and Julia. Amanhã será um dia normal.
Tomorrow
Is
will be
normal day.
See?
Yes. But hoje fomos testemunhas de uma linda história de respeito e amor.
But today we were witnesses of a beautiful story of love and passion.
Aprendi muito com a minha querida mãe sobre respeito e amor.
I learned a lot from my beautiful mother about love and respect.
Que filhos respeitam os pais,
That children respect their mother and father.
que casais devem se respeitar,
That couples should respect each other.
e assim o amor é eterno por toda a vida.
And that love is eternal for the whole of the life.
E jovens casais constroem famílias repletas de felicidade.
Okay?
Jovens casais, the new,
And the young
jovens
couples,
casais,
the young
yes.
couples.
Vocês dois, together,
Mas que é o resto?
constroem famílias repletas de
The
felicidade.
young couples
Make
construct
the
beautiful
families
families.
felicity
Yeah,
families.
happy,
Yes.
beautiful, happy families.
Yes.
And Andrew,
Andrew and Julia, se amem e se respeitem.
Andrew and Julia love each other and respect each other.
E lembrem-se, a amizade e a gratidão é o segredo para a paz.
And remember that friendship and gratitude is the path to the future.
E a amizade está entre as pessoas. Ela pode unir as pessoas. A
And
amizade está...
friendship is within us all.
E ela existe graças à gratidão.
And also exists gratitude.
A amizade existe graças à gratidão. É isso. A amizade existe a gratidão. Sejamos gratos a tudo.
We should
Sejamos
be
gratos.
grateful for everything.
Então, thank
So
you.
thanks very much. Thank you, Paulo.
Thank you. Definition. Eu, como amigo de vocês, sou grato por estar aqui.
Me, as one of your friends, I'm very grateful to be here.
E viver em um conto de fadas.
And I'm living a fairy tale.
In this beautiful country. E conhecer two beautiful families. Do you know two beautiful families? Falei certo, mais ou menos?
Yeah, no, it's correct.
Yes.
It's correct. I think everyone understands. He's
Beautiful.
meeting two beautiful families.
Andrew and Julia. Meu sincero e verdadeiro obrigado.
I'm sincerely grateful.
E prometo para todos vocês,
And I promise to all of you, I will dance on the table naked in 5
todos
minutes.
vocês, como amigo de Julia e Andrew em Brasil.
I promise to all of you that I'll look out.
Yes.
That I'll always be a friend of Andrew and Julie in Brazil,
Zelar por este amor.
just because of this love.
Yes. E que venham os bebês. Come on, baby. Yes. Que venham os bebês.
Yeah, and you want us to have a lot of babies.
Yes.
Me too.
Thank you for all.
Thank you. So basically, now what we're going to do, one thing that I forgot is actually, if you want to just reach in front of you here, there's a little gift on the table. Now, Tanya made these handmade. She stitched them all. She did everything for us. So let's have a big round of applause for Tanya. Thank you. You can open them. Inside there's some sweets. So thanks very much. Also, I'd like to thank Rowetta for singing Amazing Grace in the church. It was amazing. Grace, thank you. Hopefully we'll get a few more songs out of her later on if everybody really gets her up for it, yeah? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go upstairs and let the band set up, and they're going to change room. Then we're going to have a live band down here. So everybody wants to stand up and go back upstairs. Let's drink some whiskey, drink some coffee. We'll come back down. Thank you.